All right, let's go.
All right.
All right, family, it's my turn. The guy I want to salute the young God once again with a stellar performance as always. I've been putting together all my daggers for this lecture for a while. I had put up, not long ago, my first lecture on the first part of my lecture on YouTube, and that was just in my beginning stage. I was still devastating you niggas. But the lecture has truly grown. Uh the first thing that I want to make clear is that the flat earth theory primarily is biblical. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, something we just got to bring to the forefront quickly. We don't want people to, second guess or, wonder about where it comes from and who are the people promoting this type of a theory. It's biblical. Okay, it's also Quranic also. This is what, the Muslims teach too. Okay, so we do have people who are truly confused today, who claim to be, all kinds of things, because consciousness and African is two different things. There's no continent called consciousness. And so within consciousness, you can have so many types of groups. But the question is, what are you conscious of? You know what I'm saying? And so, and it's not the truth. You're not conscious of the truth. So you could be conscious of a lie and propagate a lie. You can do that. You're conscious of it. That don't mean it's the truth. You're aware of it. It don't mean it's the truth. And so we have people all over the board, in that conscious community group, which I don't believe even exists anymore. I think that was, devastated. But these are the type of theories that they propagate to show that the conscious community is full of Christians. That's true. Okay, so now religion is the imprisonment of the soul. The flat earth model is a prison. Okay, it's a prison because you can't get out the motherfucker. That's first and foremost. You got to look at the psychological aspect of this flat earth. You can't get the fuck out. You have no vertical mobility. Okay, you can't go up or down. You just stuck. You see, don't think outside the Bible or the teachings of the church. It's containment. You see what I'm saying? It's containment. God's controlled experiment as if we are some type of goddamn hamsters, some goddamn gerbils in a fucking tank, this is what we are. So we are God's controlled experiment. And so when we talk about the vault of heaven, see, what is a vault? It's something that locks you in. You understand what I'm saying? Everything about the flat earth theory is containment, imprisonment. You see what I'm saying? You're locked in. Okay, again, the vault of heaven, being locked in and contained within this so-called flat earth, which is not flat, which we will prove. Anybody in their goddamn right mind can tell you it's not flat when it got mountains. That in the motherfucking theory of it being flat. Okay, if it got valleys and it got mountains, that's vertical up and down. The opposite of flat, which is horizontal, is vertical. So anytime I can show valleys and I can show mountains, right there, that'll prove that whatever the fuck it is, it ain't flat. Okay? Something flat is even across the board. You can go unmolested across each way and not run into anything. So how can the fucking earth be flat? That don't make no damn sense. So when we talk about this dome and being contained on the top of whatever structure, nobody can really say what it is because, you know, the Bible has contradictions. Okay. It says at one time that God drew a circle on the face of the waters. Then it says the four corners of the earth. Well, a circle does not have corners. So now there's a discrepancy of whether it's a circle or a square. Okay. But whatever it is, it has depth. And so nobody could decide what the bottom of the earth looks like. So you got all these discrepancies, but it's just like a rat, uh, what you call a tank, a rat tank, where you put the rat in and you watch him do little tricks. Is this what God doing to humanity? Is this what God doing to, are we just little rats in a tank and we're God's sick control experiment? We have to establish that it's Yahweh that is supposedly used, you know, and built this supposed dome for, and drew the circle on the waters, you know. And I'm gonna get into that to show you that that sounds, you know, unbelievable. That some land gonna sit on top of water and not sink to the bottom. How the hell is the land on the water? The land can't be on the water. The water got to be on the land. Okay. So that's a discrepancy. Okay. Stay in the box, stay in the square. When you're talking about edges, even if you say it's not a circle, some people say it's a square. It could be a goddamn rectangle because it never says, it just says four edges, four corners. So there's more than one type of shape that has four corners. You have all type of polygons, and it's about 6 or 7 of them that has four edges or four corners. Okay, let me keep it moving. Contained earth. See what the dome. Imprisoned earth. Concealment. When you conceal something. Boxed in earth. We are living in a cell. Just like you got a prison cell. This is a cell because you cannot leave. You see what I'm saying? So there's nothing to whoever created this did not want you to think outside of this paradigm, to believe that there's an opportunity to transcend all throughout an infinite universe. So right there, they're trying to trap you from being able to do that. Okay? The earth is unmovable, so how can you have a lunar eclipse? Okay? Now I might have some typos, but that's what it says. The earth is unmovable, so how can you have a lunar eclipse? Okay? So when you're looking at the one on the right, if the earth is unmovable, okay, how can, you know, and you got to think about the sun and the moon is supposed to be on top of the earth inside of the dome. So when you're dealing with this flat earth, you know, to try to fake some of their theories, they take the dome off. See, then nobody, you know, they'll take it off to try to, it's supposed, though, the sun and the moon supposed to be up under the earth. I mean, above the earth, right up under the dome. But here they removed the dome just to try to prove a point. That's the only way that you would be able to get a lunar eclipse, where the earth is between the sun, blocking out the sun from the moon. Okay? But that's impossible, okay? Because the earth is unmovable, okay? In order for the sun and the earth to be between the sun and the moon, you would have to take the fucking dome off of it. Okay? So that right there destroys that. You can't have no damn lunar eclipse with an unmovable earth and the damn sun and the moon is on top of the earth, up under the dome, unable to leave the dome. So how in the fuck is you gonna get the sun, the earth between the sun and the moon? How's it gonna even be possible? How the fuck that ain't even possible? You know what I'm saying? So let me move to this. The earth as a whole structure, even here, is not flat. It's a cone. See, people got to look at the whole structure. So you got to include the whole structure. So when you look at the bottom of this make-believe earth, see here, they don't have the dome over the earth. Okay, they don't have the dome. It's just flat. Okay. So does it have a dome? Doesn't it, or do it not have a dome? But when you look at this structure right here, it's a cone. It's not flat. A cone is not flat. It's more like a pyramid. You see what I'm saying? The only thing is a circle at the top. If you put a square at the top, it's an upside down pyramid. Flat. No upward mobility. Flat. Without the fizz. So when you think of something flat, what kind of energy can you get from something flat? The wall. Okay, when you think about the damn ice, the wall, something blocking us in, the damn dome, blocking us in, containment. When you think about the possibility of the earth being a square. Okay, so what is it on a square? Corners. And so when you backed into a corner, what is that? That's a fucked up predicament. You backed into a corner. So all of that shit is containment. You got to look at it. Other crazy shit in the Bible about creation and the cosmos. Nah, this is one of the greatest discrepancies, is that, okay, in the beginning in Genesis chapter 1, verse 16, it says, and God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Now, this is very critical because you done just had 3 days without the sun, moon, and stars. And the questions become, if God created the sun and the moon and stars on the fourth day, what kept the earth in orbit, first and foremost, in this galaxy for those first 3 days? Because the earth would have floated off if the goddamn sun wasn't there. It just wasn't floating in the damn sky. The earth is moving around the sun. So if the sun is not there, what kept the earth in this goddamn orbit? How did it keep it in this galaxy for the first 3 days? And how can you have a galaxy without the sun in the center, keeping all the planets in orbit? Okay? So it's key that the sun has to come first. You can't create the goddamn earth first, put plants on the goddamn earth, and then you create the sun 3 days later, knowing that no vegetation can exist on this planet without the sun. Okay? So the sun is the central point of the universe. Nothing can exist without that's just like the mother, that's like the child coming before the mother. Okay? Coming here first, without the breast to be able to feed the child. Of course, the mother have to be here first. And so the sun is the central point of the universe. It had to come first. Okay, so when you look in ancient Egypt, you never see Geb, even though Geb is the deity of the earth. He never received the prominence as Ra or any of the solar deities. Okay, so when we try to say that the Egyptians may have been flat earth theory, that's not true, because flat earthers believe that the earth is the central point of the universe. That right there is the one of the number one discrepancies, because the Egyptians believe that the sun was the central most point. So y'all can't try to find a trap door to jump through on one damn photo when they have many more teachings that would clear that up. Okay, so what am I saying right here also is that, it says, and God created, and this was the first day, and God created the animals, and that was the second day. And so he waited to the damn fourth day to create the sun. Why am I saying? Because this is where the flat earth, the circle, and all the rest of this garbage. I'm showing you other crazy shit that the Bible is saying about the universe. Okay? Right here. Genesis 1:12. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good, and the evening and the morning were the third day. Okay, so you brought the trees, you brought the fruit, you brought the vegetation, but you don't create the sun, the moon, and the stars into the fourth day. So why would you create the vegetation on this planet if the sun, when you talk about the laws of photosynthesis, okay, if God created the sun on the fourth day and green life on the third day, how was plant and tree life able to survive knowing the science of photosynthesis? Okay, you got to have the sunlight here so that the damn vegetation could survive. That's like bringing a child here first before the mama. That don't make no sense. How is the baby to sustain itself if its source of nurture and sustainment is not here? That don't make no damn sense. So I'm showing you other crazy shit that you find in the Bible about the cosmos. Okay? We also have a discrepancy because Amos 8:9, it will come about in that day, declares the Lord, that I will make the sun go down at noon and make the earth dark in broad daylight. So when you hear them say the sun coming up, the sun going down, that should not be happening on a flat earth. The sun is not going down. The sun is set right above the earth, just like the earth is supposedly set. So is the sun and the moon in its cycle. It's above the earth and it never leaves above the earth. So you would never mistake the sun for going down. It would be no sunset or no sunrise, because in order to do that, the sun got to drop below the horizon. But if it's up under the damn dome, it cannot do that, okay? Because it's trapped on this supposedly circle or square. We can't make up our mind which one it is. But so it cannot drop below the horizon. So if the motherfucker go down, what do it do? Crash into the fucking earth? Crash into the ocean? It cannot go down. So now you got a discrepancy there within the book where this shit come from. You got all type of discrepancies. So in order for it to go down, it would have to drop below the horizon, which means it can't be no dome on the motherfucker blocking it in if it could drop below the horizon. Okay? Mark 6, when it says, after the sun had risen, it was scorched, and because it had no root, it withered away. After the sun had risen. Okay? So it's rising up from below the horizon. That would destroy the flat earth theory, especially the dome part, because it cannot drop below the horizon. It's trapped up under the dome. So if the sun sets, what is it gonna do? Crash into the fucking earth? It can't. So that destroys that. Okay, let me move out. And another thing in Genesis is when we talking about the shape of the earth. Let me see where we at. And wait a minute. Where is that? And God called. Wait a minute. Let me go down one more. Wait a minute. And the God and now the earth was there. It is. Even though this new international version. That's why it fucked me up. Okay. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Okay. And in this particular two chapters, when God supposedly creates the earth and creates the universe, nowhere in there does it mention a circle, a square, or anything else. It says, now the earth was formless and empty, okay? And nowhere before he finished creation did he say he drew a circle, a square, or anything, okay? It just states that it was formless and empty, and it don't say what he created it into, if he even did that. So that's, I'm just showing you contradiction. The Egyptians did not see the earth as the center of the galaxy. They saw the sun as the center of the universe. And another thing, where in the Bible you can see that God created the damn earth first, before the sun. In the Egyptian spirituality and cosmology, the sun was created first. The first thing that rose up out of the primeval waters was Ra, was the sun. Okay? And this is the so-called symbol for Ra, with the sun in the center and the circle representing the centrifugal force of the universe, and everything within that circle would move in the centrifugal movement of the sun. Any heavenly body is moving to the energy and the centrifugal force movement of the sun. Okay, and that will be considered the galaxy. Okay, and being that was the symbol, this is how they got the solar diagram of the sun and the 9 planets of today. They took it from Atum Ra and the original 9 or 8 deities, the oldest deities of creation. This is how they get the Milky Way diagram of today. Okay, if there's a dome over the earth, ask yourself, where the hell is Halley's Comet then? For it to come around every 75 goddamn years. Why would it take the goddamn comet that long to get around something so damn easy to get around? Where the fuck is it hiding at? Does God shoot Halley's Comet out of a damn slingshot? Okay? That damn comet would stay constant in the sky. So where does it go? It have to go further than that damn dome, because it wouldn't take it no damn 75 goddamn years to get around no small ass dome like that. Okay? On a flat earth, everything should be ground level. Now, I don't know if you niggas understand, and this is a very easy word to say something is flat. God damn, man, that means it's deflated. You know what I'm saying? It's smooth, it's even. Okay? Flat earth should be even, the flat earth should be even north to south, east to west. It should be smooth, and it is not, because you have mountains and you have valleys. Now, if you're saying we contained in on top of a structure that you yet to define, because nobody can tell us what the fuck it looked like, okay? You should be able to move across the top of the earth without no obstructions. But if you can fly into a goddamn mountain, if you fly in your goddamn plane, or you can fly, or you can ride your car, and it's a goddamn end of the road before you get to the Grand Canyon. If your ass keep riding to the end of that road, your ass gonna fall down in the Grand Canyon, because the goddamn earth is not even across the goddamn board. And if you go and take the water out of the oceans, you will see that even the oceans, that it's all type of craters in on this earth. So though it's a globe and though it's an egg, it's uneven. Okay, planes would not crash into mountains on a flat, smooth earth. So the question is it flat or flat topped? Okay, even there, that can't be flat, because even there, the mountain, I'm going right back to my argument that is not flat. Okay, what is it? A flat is horizontal. The opposite of horizontal is vertical. So you can look at the structure to the right, you can see that that's a cone. That's not flat, okay? And it only has one corner. A cone only has one corner. So the Bible said the earth had 4 corners. So that can't be it. That can't be it, okay? So that's a cone right there. And so the point at the bottom is the only corner, okay? So the earth is not flat, okay? Let me move through this. Now, if you look to this is what a flat circle looks like, okay? The first one is a 2-dimensional flat circle, okay? If you look to the right, you will see that that's a 1-dimensional flat circle, okay? We don't live on this. So we need to, we need to end this hypocrisy, okay? We're going to deal with the fact that really, when we can prove that we can circumnavigate the earth, that one fact damn near destroys 85%, if not 90%, of all flat earth theory. Because number one, you cannot circumnavigate something that's flat. That's just a given. It has to be an orb, okay? So you can't circumnavigate a cube, okay? You can't circumnavigate a flat circle. You can't circumnavigate a flat square. The only thing that you can circumnavigate is an orb, a globe, an egg. That's the only fucking thing that you can circumnavigate. And so what do I mean by circumnavigate? Say, for instance, my starting point is South America, okay? Now, South America is in the Southern Hemisphere, okay? When you look at Australia, it's also in the Southern Hemisphere, but it's in the Eastern Southern Hemisphere, where South America is in the Western Hemisphere, okay? So what does that mean? When you get to Australia, you will see a little island to the right up under it. That's New Zealand. That's as far as you could go on something that's flat. That would be the edge. So in order for you to get to South America, you would have to double back and take the long route and you would have to come west to South America. That's the only way that you could do it. But in circumnavigation, when you get to New Zealand, you could keep going east till you come west. You don't have to double back and sail all the way back to South America. You could come around from the east and keep going till it come west. And I'm gonna show you. Okay, Australia right there is in the Eastern Hemisphere. New Zealand is in the Eastern Hemisphere, but Samoa is in the Western Hemisphere. So, right, if you go from New Zealand to Samoa, technically, you done circumnavigated the Earth because you done kept going east till it turned west. On a flat Earth, that would be the end of the goddamn Earth. You wouldn't be able to keep going until you come west. That shouldn't be possible. You would have to double the fuck back. The only way you could keep going east until it turned west is on a globe. So you cannot circumnavigate anything that's flat. You got to be able to go all the way around, non-stop with no obstruction. So you cannot do that on anything flat. So if I went to Australia, okay, I'm gonna go back here. If this was a flat Earth, when you get to the edge of New Zealand, that's the edge of the Earth. You can't keep going. That's where the dome at. So in order for you to get to South America, you got to go west, and you would have to sail way across the Indian Ocean, past Africa, into the Atlantic Ocean, just to come to South America. That would be the only way you could do it on a flat Earth. Okay? How in the fuck is you going, and you could keep going a couple of hours going east to it turn west and be to South America in about 8-9 damn hours. If you take the route of going west, going across the Indian Ocean, past Africa, into the Atlantic Ocean, motherfucker, that'll take weeks. Okay? When you can keep going east till it turn west and get to South America in about 8-9 damn hours. That kills this shit. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? You know what I'm saying? All you had to do is look at the map. I chose to do small trips so you can land on the island. Okay? So from New Zealand to Samoa is about 4 hours and 37 minutes. So you then went from the Eastern Hemisphere into the Western Hemisphere. You keep going east till it turn west. You don't have to turn around and go across the end when you can keep going east until it turn west and come right around to South America, hit South America in 9 hours. That's done. Okay, so really, when you prove the circumnavigation of the Earth, that destroys it being flat, anything. And it destroys it being anything other than an egg, because that's the only fucking thing you can You can't circumnavigate a cube, okay? You can't circumnavigate, a cone or anything of the nature, okay? It has to be a globe. Let me keep moving. You can keep going east till you come west without ever having to double back. You did so if you sail from South America on this map and it's flat, and you sail all the way over to Australia, the only way you could get back to South America is to turn around and double back. You can never circumnavigate nothing flat, square, or nothing. All right. How can Antarctica surround the whole Earth when you can circumnavigate the Earth from east to west? Look at that. That destroys that. How the fuck is you gonna have a wall and look at that again? Containment, containment, containment. But if you can circumnavigate the earth from east to west, that proves that there's not no damn wall of ice around the whole earth. Okay? We're looking at the definition of one-dimensional, two-dimensional, three-dimensional. So when you look at something that's flat, okay, two-dimensional is having or appearing to have length and breadth, but no depth. So that's number two. Okay? When you look at number three, that's got depth. So that would make it a cube. Okay, but we know that you can't circumnavigate a cube. Plus, a cube has about 8 corners. So it can't be a 4-corner earth because a cube got about 8 corners. Okay? Since you can circumnavigate the earth, it cannot be a square or a rectangle. So I don't care if you're talking about the 4 corners of the earth, that's what the Bible says. But when you successfully circumnavigate the earth, going in a one direction, going east until you go around the earth and it changes into west, and you can keep coming back around to that same point, you have circumnavigated that object. And you can only do that. You cannot circumnavigate a square, okay? You cannot circumnavigate a square. Where the fuck is the lava at on some shit like this? You got lava at this center. You got the deep oceans. They got this shit like it's about 2-3 feet up under the land. Okay, this is so deceptive because anybody can go to the damn oceans and know them oceans is deep and there's land up under the ocean. Okay? You cannot circumnavigate a cube. Okay? And if you did, when you got to that edge and that vertical down on your ass, 8,000 miles down, because it's 4,000 miles from each pole, to the North and South Pole, to the equator. So goddamn, if you once you hit that damn edge, nigga, that's 8,000 miles. That's a hell of a drop. And without gravity, what the fuck would keep you on that cube when you go over the edge? Okay? So you knew you had to come up with the dome and say, well, you're blocked in. Okay, you're locked in. So you only at the top. You cannot circumnavigate nothing that's flat. God damn it, you have to be able to go all the way around. So that destroys a dome. That destroys it being flat. The circumnavigation alone destroys that. Okay? Circumnavigation also disproves that we are trapped on the top of anything. A cube has 8 corners, not 4. So when the Bible says the 4 corners of the earth, so it can't be a cube. And it cannot be square at all. Okay? Because a globe does not have corners. So that destroys that. You cannot circumnavigate anything flat. Okay? Now, as we get into this deceptiveness, see, this is a globe from the top. And so what these deceivers have done is taken a shot of the globe from the top and superimposing it on a flat 2-dimensional surface to make it look like that is flat. But when you really look at the continents, you can see that it got vertical depth. You can't have vertical depth on something that's flat. Okay? So right there, they're being deceptive. Okay? It's just like this. See, they done drew this image on a flat surface. It looks like if you don't make it over to that one stone, that you can fall down into that picture. But that's not true. That's deceptive. Okay? Because it's flat. It's flat. Okay? And so what they've done is tricknology. Okay, well, that's actually a globe. And so they'll make it look like that you can circumnavigate a flat earth. That's actually a globe at what you're looking at. So the fact that they got that ice wall around the globe, and we just proved we can go from east to west, circumnavigation, it can't be no damn wall all the way around the earth. Because we did circumnavigation. That destroys that. And the fact that you need to make these deceptive pictures is proves the fact that the flat earth theory is a made up theory with many holes in it. Okay? With many holes in it. So you have to be deceptive. Hold on, fam. See, both of them are spears. They're globes. What they did is they cut the second one in half. You see what I'm saying? But when you look at the continents got vertical depth. The only way you would be able to do that if it was on a globe. So they're using trick imagery to make it look like you can circumnavigate a flat earth. You cannot circumnavigate. You can go around, you can double back in a circle, but you still got to take that long route that you got to take even on a rectangle earth, on a square earth. If you go to Australia, you're going to have to double back and go the long way on a flat earth. So this is very deceptive. Okay? Look at this. See them continents? Them continents got vertical north and south. This is a globe, a photo taken from the top. Okay, what they did is superimpose it on a two-dimensional image to make it look flat, but it's not flat. That's actually a globe. Okay, and again, because we have proven circumnavigation, at least from east to west, there is no way that there's an ice wall all the way around the earth. That would destroy that immediately. Okay? This is actually a globe from the top looking down. This is flat. Okay? It wouldn't be no vertical down. The continents, just like the Bible say, it says that he drew a circle on the face of the deep. It's on the top. Okay? It's on the top. And that's crazy that y'all would even say some shit like that and believe some shit like that. Okay? Look at this. See this? This is trick imagery. Okay? This is trick imagery. How the hell the continents, and you got all that hot ass lava at the core. Where the hell would the lava be at? Okay? Where the hell would the lava be at? So this is flat. When you're talking about a flat stove, that's flat. It's even from north to south, east to west. Okay? There's no obstructions on something that's flat. But as soon as I show you vertical up and I show you vertical down, there is no longer a flat surface. If I show you mountains and I show you valleys and I show you this in a three-dimensional structure, this cannot be just what these people believe in. But this is the actual flat earth. Okay? Let me keep it moving. Okay, that's a flat top stove. That's flat. Flat means smooth from end to end. But if I'm in a goddamn valley looking up at the goddamn mountains, that show you is vertical up and there's vertical down. That's uneven. How in the fuck is the earth gonna be flat if I'm in the valley looking up at the mountains? That's uneven. It's not smooth from end to end. So I don't know how the fuck niggas keep saying it's flat Even if we under a dome, it ain't flat. The land is not flat. God damn, y'all niggas got to do better than that. Okay? So we talking about, you see this mason out here, this construction worker, and what he got in his hand is a leveler. You know, he have to make sure that that whole row is even, horizontal, flat, okay? So if you take a leveler and put it on the goddamn earth, is it gonna level out? Is it flat all the way across? Is it level all the way across? When you can easily see that that the oceans is uneven, the land masses is uneven, so then it cannot be level. It cannot be even. It cannot be flat. It cannot be horizontal. Okay? Contained on an uneven square, rectangular top structure. But just because, now, if you were saying it, because the Bible says the earth has four corners, well, shit, you know, it's about 6 or 7 types of shapes that has 4 corners. So that don't necessarily mean it have to be a square. It don't necessarily mean it has to be a rectangle. Okay, it could be any of those other polygons that also have 4 corners. Okay, but as we can see, based on the levels of the oceans, based on the mountainous regions, which you can see on this topographical map, where the orange regions, those are the mountain regions. It's uneven. It's not flat. Okay, when we talking about you know, many of the flat earthers is trying to say that Geb is flat, and you can right there see right angles in his knee, okay, which shows vertical, which will prove that he's not flat. So I don't know how you try to get that out of there. When you see them right angles in his arms, you see them in his leg. So this is not a even or leveled structure, okay? It's very uneven, okay? So people got to do better with their math, okay? Right here, the earth was not fixed. Wait a minute, I ain't gonna put that part in there. But just look at Geb. When you look at Geb, you can see the right angles. Right angles automatically. You got vertical, up and down, okay? Which is, vertical is the opposite of horizontal. Okay, I don't know what the fuck y'all niggas talking about. So where you see his arm is valley. You see, that's valley, that's depth. Okay, then you see his knee represent height. That's vertical, vertical height. And then you got his arm, vertical depth. Okay, any type of vertical up and down is the opposite of horizontal. Okay, cannot be considered flat at all. Okay, so you niggas need to go back into basic geometry, or go get a geometry for dummies. Okay, Geb is not flat. I don't know how y'all get that out of that. This is not even supposedly a mathematics. This is dealing with human emotion. It's showing the masculine and feminine energy, always pulling towards one another, even throughout the universe. So this wasn't meant to be a mathematical cosmic equation. This is a more human emotion, okay? And man seeing his, you know, the feminine and the masculine energy all throughout the universe, which keeps the universe in balance, okay? But this was not meant for people to prove that the earth is flat, because he's not flat. Okay, I don't know if y'all understand what it means, and we're going to keep going over that. Okay, again, looking to the right, where you see that this is trick science, trick imagery. Okay, you're not going to have vertical north and vertical south on something that's flat. So this is superimposed a globe. They took the globe, cut and pasted. I mean, they cut and pasted it. I ain't gonna say cut and pasted it, but what they call that when you get the background out of it. okay? And then you superimpose it on a flat surface and put the wall of ice around it to make it look flat. But when you look at the continents, you can see they not flat. This is actually a globe from the top. So it's a trick. That's the only way they can try to prove that they could circumnavigate. And you will look at it and say, yeah, I can see how, because it's actually a globe. That's the only reason why, not because it's flat. So if you look to the left, if you was looking down on the earth, the continent should be on top of the circle, not with vertical depth going down like it's on the globe. Y'all motherfuckers getting the 3-car Molly put on y'all ass. Okay? Is the ocean floor flat like your bathtub? Of course not. It has topographical features the same as land. Yet most relief maps show the oceans with no topography. So even at the depths of the ocean, it's uneven, okay? So that proves beyond all reasonable doubt that the earth is not flat. And like I said, and with circumnavigation, that destroys that, because you cannot circumnavigate anything that's flat. Okay, you can only circumnavigate something that's spherical. Okay, we're looking at the Grand Canyon. Okay, now you can look at the the very tops of the mountains. You can ride up in your car on that. Okay, but I tell you what, keep going when you get to the edge of that goddamn cliff and see what happened to your ass. Your ass gonna come crashing down to the bottom of that motherfucker. You know why? Because it's uneven. Okay? Flat is even. The opposite of even is uneven. So that right there will prove beyond any reasonable doubt that even if we was under a dome, even if we were contained at the top of any, whatever, if it's a circle, if it's a square, it would not make no difference. It's still not flat. So we should kill that today. Okay? So what am I saying when you look at, if you look again on this map and you look and you see that little piece of land all the way right at the bottom up under Australia is New Zealand. Okay? If this was a flat earth, a square, a rectangle, if you sail from South America going towards Australia, going east, okay, going east, if you get to Australia, the only way to get back to South America would be to turn around and double back. That's the only way, the only choice you got on a flat earth theory. But we all know that if you keep going east from New Zealand, that eventually you will come on the other side, coming west, and hit South America in about 8 hours. You don't have to double back, you dumbass fool. So you cannot circumnavigate anything flat, whether it's circle, whether it's square, whether it's rectangle. So that destroys it being flat, anything, okay? And you cannot circumnavigate a cube. You cannot circumnavigate a triangle, okay? You can circumnavigate a globe, okay? Let me get out of this. Right there, showing you that a circle does not have corners. So you have discrepancies within the book which gave birth to the flat earth theory, okay? It don't want to make up its mind whether the motherfucker a circle, whether it's a square, is the sun above the earth, is the sun below the earth? Can the sun go beneath the horizon? Is the motherfucking dome a remote control and you can hit a button and the motherfucker open up and the sun and moon can exit from up under the dome to create a lunar eclipse? How does that work? Okay, so Here's all the shapes with 4 corners and edges. It's called quadrilateral family. Okay, so these is all the shapes that have 4 corners. So just because the Bible says that it has 4 corners, it never said that it was a square. Okay, it never said that it was a square or a rectangle. It could be a rhombus. It could be a kite. It could be a quadrilateral. It could be a trapezoid. Okay, a parallelogram. Okay, so it could be either one of those shapes. So the fact that you can't even come to any type of clarity on what the fuck it looked like, okay, you don't have no clarity. And so we can't go into chaos with you goddamn flat earth motherfucker. So if we already disproved that image you looking at, when you're looking at the continents, is trick imagery. That is actually the image of how the continents would look on the globe, and they then superimposed it on a flat circle to make it look like that the earth is flat. But when you look at the continents, you can see you got vertical depth, and you can only have it on something that's a globe. Fool ass niggas. So when you're looking at this, you see that the sun and the moon is above the earth in a set cycle. So how do you get 4 seasons in one damn cycle? God damn it. How do you get 4 seasons in one damn cycle? So when you read in the Bible about the sun rising and the sun setting, the sun would never rise, nor never would it set on the flat earth model, because it's fixed above the earth. It would never look like it's setting. It would never look like it's rising. So again, right there, you have contradiction within the book that gave birth to the flat earth theory. Okay? And I'm just telling you all the other crazy shit they believe in. Okay? So you can see the sun setting and rising beneath the horizon. How the fuck can it go beneath the horizon if it's under the dome? If it's under the dome, it can't leave and go beneath the horizon. It would crash into the damn earth. So if you see the sun setting and you see it rising, that disproves that it's set above the earth in the cycle that the flat earthers believe. It disproves that there's a dome, that the earth cannot leave from, that the sun cannot leave from with under the dome. That disproves that. So there is no dome, okay? And that the sun is not in the cycle that the flat earthers portray, because it can drop below the horizon, and disproves that totally, okay? Ecclesiastes, okay? Also, the sun rises and the sun sets, and it hastens to its place. It rises there again. That disproves that the sun is set above the earth in the cycle, because if it can rise and it can set, that means it has to drop below the horizon, which means it can't be no dome. It can't be above the damn, first and foremost, it can't be above the earth, small like they portray it, just because it got to be able to go up under the earth. Okay, and the only way it's going to be able to do that is going to have to be outside of the dome. Okay, it has to be outside of the dome to be able to drop below the horizon. Okay, so now you got a discrepancy, because you got verses in the Bible that's saying that the sun is rising and that the sun is setting. You have discrepancies within the book that gave birth to the flat earth theory. Okay, so here again, we looking at how the cycle of the sun and the moon above the earth. It is always above the earth. it would never look like it's dropping below the horizon. So if you see the sun setting and you see the sun rising from beneath that horizon, that proves that it's not in that cycle right there before us, and that there's no dome over the damn earth blocking the sun. It's on the outside of the damn that the earth's atmosphere, far outside of it. All right. So here, some flat earther put this garbage together, saying that the sun and the moon is 3,000 miles up over the earth. They can't be, you got to be kidding me. Nigga, we been in planes that go up 30,000. We be so far above the god. I know this cannot be true. I cannot believe these people are this ignorant. Okay, you cannot be that goddamn. It cannot be 3 miles. Stop playing. Okay, it cannot be this one right here. Y'all gonna have to do better than that, because you know damn well you could go up 3,000 miles. Some of the the planes we be on be 30-some miles, 30,000 miles up in the air. Okay, so this right here is impossible. The sun could not leave the protective dome in the flat earth theory. So how can it drop below the horizon? If the sun dropped below the horizon on a flat earth, the whole planet would go into darkness. Okay, so if you're on something flat and the goddamn sun dropped below the horizon, let's just assume that there's no dome on it, and it dropped, the whole goddamn planet would go into darkness. Shit, the damn moon is reflecting the light of the sun. So if we living on a flat earth at the top of a structure that you have yet to identify, because you can't tell us what the structure look like, okay? You got discrepancies again, whether it's a circle, whether it's a square, whether the sun can rise or set, whether the sun and moon is above the earth. If it is above the earth, it can't rise or set. So y'all motherfuckers are chaotic thinkers. Y'all have no proof whatsoever of any type of flat earth, in any form, any geometrical shape. You don't have no proof of it. The sun and moon are in fixed positions 3,000 miles above the earth. It will never look like the sun dropped below the horizon. So if this sun and this moon is